I'm feeling chatty today, and so I thought I would just yap about my favorite interior design styles. I'm starting a series, and I'm gonna do deep dives one at a time into different interior design styles, and so I would like all of you to comment your favorite design styles or ones that you want to learn more about, just so that I know which ones I should start with first. But yeah, let's get into my favorite interior design styles, if anyone cares. Organic modern. I really love the calmness, the simplicity, and the warmth that organic modern really gives a space. I think a lot of people right now are confusing Scandinavian with organic modern, and there's a lot of overlap. Mainly color palette is something that they really share. They have that in common, is the color palette's usually pretty similar. But in my opinion, organic modern really embraces a little bit more imperfection, a little bit more texture, a little bit more earthiness, and a little more softness. I had a space that leaned pretty Scandi for a while. Unfortunately, people keep asking. I don't really have good photos of my. I didn't think I was ever gonna start like a YouTube channel where I would need like good photos of just my living room or just my bedroom, so I don't really have that, unfortunately. But it was a lot of sleek, smooth surfaces, a lot of blonde wood, and my color palette was ivory and beige, and that was really it. I loved the airiness, I loved the simplicity, I loved that it wasn't visually overstimulating, but I think what I was really missing was texture. And in organic modern, there's a lot of different texture in the art, in the decor, in the textiles, and I think it brings a little bit more visual interest than Scandinavian design has, and for that reason I like it a little bit more than Scandi. I'm particularly really drawn to like the vases and the pottery that's seen in organic modern, and that's where the organic side comes in. I think a lot of the textiles and the decor, being that they're more natural based materials, is a great contrast to the really modern and sleek form of the furniture that's often seen in organic modern. I think had I incorporated a little bit more texture in my last apartment, I would have liked it for longer and I wouldn't have gotten bored as easily. I think it just would have helped bring a little bit more visual interest to my all beige look. I do see as well a little bit more contrast with the color palette than I see in Scandinavian design. Don't get me wrong, people do use black or charcoal in Scandinavian design, it's just you don't see it as much. And in organic modern, there's more shade variation than I see in Scandinavian design. So that's just another main difference in my opinion. I see a lot more dark brown, I see more deep taupe in organic modern than I see in Scandinavian. It's typically a lot of neutrals, beige, white, cream, some black, some gray, but not as much. I think the pro for this design style is that it's really accessible to the average person. Sometimes it's really tough when a style is really tied to specific architecture. Like if you really love Victorian era style design, it might look really out of place if you don't have a home that is cohesive with that look, like the architecture doesn't match. And this design style, in my opinion, isn't really tied to specific architecture, and I think it can work really seamlessly in the average builder grade home or the cookie cutter style apartments that a lot of us live in, including myself. And so for that reason, I think it's a really great style that can fit really seamlessly in normal people homes. Okay, a con that I foresee for this interior design style is the color palette is really constricting. I have lived through this before in my all beige apartment where I was drawn to certain items sometimes if I was going antiquing or if I was just shopping and like I didn't want to buy something that had any color because my base was so neutral. Any little bit of color would really stick out. And so even once I started not liking that look anymore and I was drawn to something that was a little bit more collected, I really refrained for longer than I should have because I felt like I needed to really stay true to my overall color palette. So I think that's a pitfall that some people might come across, where you may feel like everything has to be white, beige, cream, black, taupe, like it has to be a neutral, and I don't think that that is any way to live if you don't already really love that. And the thing is, I did like it for a really long time, but as soon as I started growing out of it a little bit, I resisted and I was like, no, we gotta stay on theme. We gotta stay in the color palette. And I just, yeah, I would say if you're starting to feel a little bit too constricted, maybe reevaluate and kind of ask yourself if you still really like the all neutral look. Dark academia. I know I'm a sheep. Kind of. Not really. Kind of. Yeah, I'm a sheep. Okay. The thing about dark academia is it's a very new term and it's not actually an interior design style. To me, I see it more as an umbrella term because I think it's been influenced by Gothic revival, by the Victorian era, by Edwardian style, by I even see hints of neoclassic. I see a little bit of Art Deco. It's just there's a lot going on. Overall, it's dark, it's moody, it's sexy library. That's what dark academia is, really, if we're gonna put it in simple terms. The color palette for this design style is really just dark, deep jewel tones. Think forest green, think dark burgundy, navy blue, charcoal could work, dark chocolate, brown, even black, honestly. A lot of dark wood. You're probably not going to see any blonde wood in this design style. And it has a really collected feel, a traveled look. Like every single piece has a story. And that's really what I love about this design style is just it looks so collected. And it seems like every single piece, there was like an adventure involved, if that makes sense. I'm maybe projecting a little bit, but that's kind of that's the vibe I get. In terms of furniture, you're really gonna wanna go antique for pretty much everything. I don't think that you're gonna find a lot of mass-produced modern furniture that is accessible in big box stores that's really gonna look good in this style. You're really gonna need to find antiques, which is another reason I really like this style, is just the layered, the history, the story that's all behind every single piece. So antique furniture, I would get the biggest bookcase I could find on like Facebook Marketplace. You need a bookcase, okay? You need a bookcase. Maybe you need a writing desk to be all mysterious and write letters to your husband at the war. You're probably a Chesterfield sofa could work really well. Queen Anne chair, you know, a winged back chair could work. For lighting, I think a statement lighting could work. I just feel like I would go with more quantity that's dimmer. I don't really feel like one big statement light fixture in the middle of the room it really gives that dark, moody, sexy feel. I feel like you just need like a ton of sconces and candles all set really dimly. So it's about layering and quantity, but really, really dim lighting, if that makes sense. It's just gonna help with the moodiness. You need the moodiness to achieve this vibe. A pro is that a dark, moody paint color, like a dark jewel tone, is gonna get you like 40 to 50% of the way there. Like so many people are afraid to go dark in their paint colors, and so if you really just do that one bold move, you're already almost there. Like I think it really is as simple as choosing a really dark, bold paint color and then getting a bookcase and some candles and you're golden. A con for this look is that it's popular, and that's really what turns me off about this style, is that a lot of people are doing it and I just don't want my home to feel like a Pinterest feed. So for that reason, I will be abstaining from this interior design look for the meantime, until I start seeing it less, maybe. Yeah. French Regency. I love the drama, the sophistication, the elegance of French Regency. It's characterized by ornate furniture with lots of curves and wood carving. A lot of the textiles are a little bit more luxurious, and then the color palette is soft muted colors, like a pale green, like a soft blue, like a light pink. I do see some interpretations of this design with like burgundy. I see burgundy quite a bit as well, but overall it's a lot of pastels. And then for metal, it seems, or at least the pictures that I typically see, it seems like brass is the metal of choice, which you guys know I love. So that's That's another point for French Regency in my books. Overall, French Regency has a lot of order, has a lot of symmetry, and it has a lot of formality, and a little bit of an air of luxury and opulence. A pro in this design style is that, like with dark academia, you're really not going to find modern, mass-produced furniture that really looks good with this style. You're gonna need to go antiquing, and I just think that that's a win, because although this style has this sort of air of luxury, it's actually a pretty affordable one to bring to life in your space, because a lot of the stuff is going to be secondhand. A lot of the stuff is going to be thrifted, Facebook Marketplace, things like that. And so it's actually not all that expensive to have a French Regency style or sprinkle in your home. A con of this interior design style is that a lot of the impact of French Regency comes from the architecture. And it's really not a style that can be easily brought to life in a regular style home. Like, it's, if I try to go all French Regency in my grayish basic apartment, it's gonna look like my apartment is playing dress up. Like, it's gonna look a little bit off. If you have a Georgian style home, you are one lucky bean, and I would really lean in and go with the bones. Don't work against your home's bones. You know what I mean? Like, pick a style that works with what you already have. And on the opposite end of that spectrum, I would say don't try too hard to work against the style apartment or home that you already have, and try to do a style like French Regency that's gonna kind of stick out and not look correct, you know? Traditional is the last one on this list. Traditional almost means nothing anymore in the world of interior design, because it is such a broad term and it means something different to almost every single person. It's influenced by so many different design styles and eras, and yeah, it just means something different to everybody, and therefore it almost means nothing. When I say traditional, I'm talking grandma's house. There's something just so nostalgic and safe and homey about traditional style to me. It's classic, it's formal, but it doesn't sacrifice comfort. Like, it still feels homey, and that's what I love about it. Typically, when I'm talking traditional, what I'm usually seeing is varying shades of red, blue, green, lots of dark wood. But again, if you like light wood, if you like a lighter color palette, you can absolutely have a traditional style home in pretty much any color palette. Like, it's a very versatile style. Furniture is gonna lean towards probably a darker wood, but again, that's not set in stone. It's usually a little bit more ornate, but it really doesn't feel stuffy or too formal, and it still has a little bit of comfort and coziness. You are gonna see a lot of symmetry in traditional design style. That's a common thread in a lot of older design styles. Nowadays, we lean into symmetry in different ways, not as literal ways, but yeah, traditional design style has a lot of symmetry in the furniture layout and even the layout of the home. Something I really like about traditional design style is you see a lot of pattern, and I think that that's exciting. You see some paisleys, you'll see pinstripes, florals, damasks. One thing that's just not my favorite about traditional design style is the use of really heavy drapery, like swagged valances, and just a lot of curtain. I think it works in some ways, in some design styles, but overall, it's just not my favorite way to dress a window. I think that it's important that we cherry pick what we like about a certain design style and leave what we don't, and that would be something that I would leave, and I would go with just a basic pinch pleat curtain rather than something that's swagged and really heavy and like pools on the floor. If you really copy paste a style and do it exactly as you see other people do it, like your grandma do it, you're gonna feel like you live in a time capsule. And so yeah, that's just one thing about this design style that I personally would leave. I don't love the heavy, big, swaggy drapery. A pro for traditional design style, in my opinion, is that it offers a really versatile space and foundation that can accommodate different accents from different design styles. And so if you're somebody who really likes to play around and try different things, and you know, you like to pull from a lot of different design styles, I think a traditional base offers a lot of flexibility. One pitfall that I see in traditional design style is just, other than the drapery, just and overall there's too much. Like sometimes I'll see too much furniture, too many lamps, too much stuff on the wall. It can become a little bit overstimulating, and it can feel a little bit crowded. There's kind of a fine line between being like a collector, like I love a curio cabinet with some like pretty china displayed, like that, and becoming a hoarder. And I think a lot of us have grandmas who have hoarderish tendencies, and so I have a little bit of an association with traditional design and like too much stuff, and so that's just something to be aware of. All right, that's it for this video. If you found it helpful, you can hit the like button, and again, if you have a design style that you would like to learn more about, or your favorite one, just put it down in the comments below and I will make sure to make a video about it eventually. Just give me some time, okay? If you enjoyed this video, you can hit the like button, and if you want to see more stuff like this, you can subscribe. I appreciate you watching till the end, and I'll see you in my next video.